Hello everyone, this is our third session for Photoshop. So I hope you guys like Photoshop so far, and after actually today's session, we will move on to the Illustrator. And we will spend quite some time for the Illustrator to get used to. Then we will come back to advanced option Photoshop and combined with the Illustrator. Okay, so we're gonna start this session by creating a create new, and make sure you change to inches, 8.5 and 11 and 300. Okay, so we will reuse some of the images from last session, but you should have two additional illustration images for today's practice. So we will need practice one images, and we're gonna open one at a time for today too. So as I told you, we're gonna learn additional tools of the Photoshop here. So we will use image tool, image options to change the colors. And then we will use filter options to add some artistic effects. And we will learn newly about this blur tool and dots tool and additional selection tool. Okay, so we use the rectangular marquee tool to select the shape selection. And then we use polygonal lasso tool to select the irregular shape. But today we actually gonna use magic wand tool. So if you don't have a magic wand tool, it might be hidden under the object selection tool. So you need to click this to get this magic wand tool. And again, some of you said you lost some tools here, and I put the resources, for the PowerPoint, to how to restore. Okay, so you may go to edit. I'm sorry, edit and toolbar. And then do you see restore default? And if you lost some, because you can actually remove some tools or adding some extra tools for the toolbar, but somehow you lost tools not knowing that you will need, then you can actually restore, and then you will actually restore tools that you lost. Okay, so first, after you open the practice one, use move tool. As a shortcut is a V, okay, V on keyboard, and then move, and then I will close. And then with Command T, if you're using PC, Control T, Command T, you can modify sizes. And some of you cannot change the ratio. I want you to make sure you have this one selected. So if you lock the ratio, you cannot change the ratio. You cannot make it narrower or taller. But if you make this on select, then actually you can make it narrower or taller. Okay. So actually I don't want to keep the ratio, so I unselected this clip here. So I can make it wider than original. Once you like the location and then size, you need to hit the enter to make the selection go away. So first option that we're gonna try is image adjustment. So whenever you do your color changes, you need to go images and then adjustment. And let's see. I don't know if you can see. Okay. So file, images, adjustment, and then first one that we're gonna try is actually black and white. So black and white. And make sure you have preview selected, okay, so you know what you're doing here. And you can actually adjust what kind of black and white you want. Okay, like by controlling. So I want a little bit brighter here, like that, and then hit the OK. Once you like the color tones, then you hit the enter. So we did image and then adjustment and then selected black and white. Next one, we're gonna try actually filter option to add some artistic effects. So I will open practice 3 and then with move to V and then move and then with command T and then adjust your size and then I will hit enter and then I will close the original file. Let's go to filter and then let's open filter gallery. If you don't have filter gallery up here, probably you should have one here. Filter gallery, they are same. And you can move your images here and then if you wanted to zoom out, it's the same. Command key and minus. If you're using PC, Control key minus. To zoom out, Control key plus is zoom in. Okay. So here, because we opened the filter gallery, you have very many options here. And nice thing about Photoshop is like you know what you're doing whenever you select new tools, right? So you just pick. It doesn't need to be same as mine, but just pick. Try to see how it changes, and then just pick whatever effect you like. Okay, so that's the filter gallery option. And let's open this one. Practice 2. And then with move tool, move, command T, control T if you're using PC. And then tool that we're gonna use is going to be a blur. There is a blur option on the filter, but that's not what we are going to use actually. We're gonna come back this after we learn the Illustrator. But blur tool that we're gonna use is from the tool. Okay, so there's a blur tool and smudge tool. We're gonna try both of them, blur tool and smudge tool. So blur tool. And I told you whenever you select the tools, option for those two is placed here. Okay. So my brush is quite big because I changed. So if your brush is so small, then you might change here. And then I will keep my strength, to 100 because actually blur tool is not really visible. It's very mild. So I will do command plus to zoom in to show you guys. Okay, so around the corner, actually I will make my brush a little bit bigger. Here. Do you see? So my corner edge is going to be blurry. Command mine. So if I use my blur tool to make my edge of images blur. So the sharpen tool is doing opposite, but again, this is very mild. So you won't really make that much difference, for sharpen tool, but blur tool, actually you can make, edges or borderline kind of blurry. And then smudge tool is actually you kind of push out your images. You know, sometimes you just don't make real like clean edges, you know, then you might use smudge tool like that. Okay, so these are the smudge tool and blur tool. So now I want you to use open illustration for design board. Okay, so this is actually images that you will create in Illustrator. So we learn about various selection tool in terms of the rectangular marker tool or polygonal lasso tool. Of course, you can use polygonal lasso tool to trace her, but escape. When you have this clean and perfectly like clean edges on the images, actually you can use magic wand tool to select the area. So if your magic wand tool is hidden, it should be probably behind the object selection tool. So select a magic wand tool and then come to your images and select the white background. Now your white background is selected, you know, but we wanted to move actually illustration itself, not the background. So what we need to do is we need to inverse our selection. So go to select and then inverse. Now selection change from the background to the inside. And then with move tool selected, we move. Okay, I can close this one now. Okay. And one more thing, we wanted to make a copy of this one. Okay, so what we're going to do is actually we will duplicate layers. So if you don't have this layer window open, you need to go make sure you need to go window and select layers. Okay, so you have this one. Once you have this one, you can right click and then select duplicate layer, or once you have this layer selected, do you see this like not the hamburger but these 4 bars around here? If you click, then you can select the duplicate layer. So either way, you can right click and then select duplicate layers, where is it? Here, or you can click here and then duplicate layers. And another thing is actually you can change the layer's name. So if you double click the name, actually you can do illustration 2. I mean, the changing name is for now is not required, but I'm showing how you can manage your layers. Sometimes if you have like tons of 20s, like 100 layers here, you don't know like what's what. I mean, of course you can do this way to know which is what, but sometimes the image is too small, then you might change the layer name. Anyway, so move tool, and then let's move your copied one. Okay, so now you have layer 2 copies of the illustrations. Okay, so what we are going to do is actually we will change the garments, the colors. So one is going to be a red dress, and then the other one is going to be a green dress. Okay, so we can use magic wand tool again, to select. This is this, right? To select her, okay? And somehow, if your selection is not clean enough, I will zoom in a little bit. I think my selection is pretty good, but because it's one color, so you can increase the tolerance because it's just one color for now. It's not really necessary to increase the tolerance, but whenever you increase the tolerance, it means you will select a wide range of the colors. Okay? Anyway, so after you select the garment here, you need to go edit and images, adjustment, and then this time actually, let me move here. Make sure you use replace color. Okay, and then let's select the inside of, click inside of the area that you wanted to change. So this is the original color, and then click here to select the new color. I said green, right? So let's change to green dress. So now I will do command minus to zoom out. Okay, one is red color, the other is green. And then you can do Control D, or you are using Command D for the deselect. Okay, so I showed you how to use a replace color. And then we're gonna actually make skin a little bit of the dimensional. So we're gonna add some shadow or highlight of this by using the dodge tool and burn tool. So here is the dodge tool and then burn tool. I will show you here. Okay, I may zoom in a little bit, Control plus or Command plus, and then make sure which layers are you are using. Okay, and then actually I will use magic wand tool to select. Okay, so if you use dodge tool and then change here to highlight, and then actually I want a little bit stronger, so I increase the exposure to 100. Then what you see is like you can actually make it brighter. If you think the brush size is too big, you can change it. Okay, I may do that one for my left arm, so I will use magic wand to select the left arm, and then use dodge tool to do this highlight, and then magic wand to select the dress, and then dodge tool again to make it a little bit brighter, and the command D for the deselect. And then I'm going to use magic wand tool. As you see, because I changed the color, actually magic wand tool only work for the certain color range. If you wanted to select a little bit wider color range, you can actually increase this one to maybe 60. And then let's just see. Yeah, it make a little bit bigger color range. Anyway, so I will use this time burn tool. So this is actually make it darker. So I will use shadow to make it darker. And then I will use magic wand tool to select the dress. And then make it dress side a little bit dark. So actually, because wand tool, magic wand tool will only work where the similar color range. So let's do use magic, the burn tool and dodge tool when we select the one area. So I will show you here. Magic wand to select the one leg, and then let's use actually dodge tool make it lighter, and then burn tool to make it darker. And then again, we will move the the other leg, and then select the Dodge tool to make it lighter, and then burn tool. 아이고. Control G as undo, burn tool to make it darker. Did you make it? Burn tool. Actually, it's better use highlight. It makes it stronger. Okay, so after I use the burn tool, I can make it darker. Let me do that. Yeah. For hair, so use magic wand tool to select the hair, and then maybe use burn tool to make it darker. And then use magic wand tool again here, and then use darker again. So now my illustration has a little bit of more like personal kind of touching things going on. So you may do that for the second one. It's optional, okay? So that's how you use dot tool and burn tool. Most of the time, we're gonna use Illustrator to create this kind of thing. But sometimes you want to add some sort of the effect, like by using dot tool and burn tool. It's actually easier here in Photoshop. So, you can actually move the images between two software, which means you can create an illustration in Illustrator and then adding colors in Photoshop and adding some effect in Photoshop, those kind of thing. So yeah, this touch tool and burn tool is going to be like you can add a little bit of the some personal kind of touching thing. Okay. And then after this, I'm going to show you how to add shadow. So go to layer style, layer here, layer window here, and then make sure you select the right layer to add the shadow. Okay, to add the shadow. So we're gonna add the shadow for this red dress, illustration first. So you can double click this layer on the layer store window, or you can go to layer and then you can select layer style. Where is it? Here. And then select the blending option. So same. You can go either way. Go to layer and then layer style and then select blend option, or you can double click and then get this one. So it's the same. Anyway, under the blending layer style options, very bottom you see the drop shadow. So instead of clicking here, actually, I want you to actually go here. So you have the options for drop shadow, okay? And so let's change it to normal if you have other selection going on. And then you may move your window a little bit to see the how shadow looks. And actually you can change the angle of shadow by changing the light direction. So I want my shadow placed on the kind of right side. So I can put here like that. And then you can put the distance, and then spread, and then size. I want a little bit spread like that. And then you can actually change your shadow color. I want a little bit gray, so I will do this. Okay. And then let's add layers for the second illustrations. So double click or go to layer and then layer style and then select blending option and then select drop shadow and yeah, so let's add the same kind of shadow. And then if you want to try what is the inner shadow? It's kind of the adding a little bit of the shadow inside. Okay, so if you kind of try to see what it's like, you can do that. But this is the tool that I want you to try for this time. Okay. So now we use image option on the image option black and white to make black and white images. We use a filter to make this artistic effect. We use that tool and smudge tool to make this image kind of blurry and irregular kind of edge here. And then we use magic wand to trace select outside. And then we go select and inverse to select inside of the illustration and use the move tool to move. And then we did duplicate layers to make same images. And then we use magic wand to select one inside of the dress and then go to image again and then we replace the we change the color, replace color. Okay, and then we use a layer style to add shadow here. So last thing that we're gonna do is adding titles. So when you have type to select it, you can select the area and then you can retype. I don't like this title. Love summer. And if you wanted to change the color of your font, come here. And then you can select from your images. Like that. And then I showed you can do the kind of the wrap text last time. Or you can actually add the layer, the shadow for this one too. So double click and then you can do the drop shadow. And actually I will change the shadow color a little bit lighter. And then actually this time you can try this bevel and emboss. So you can make your type a little bit more dimensional look. So I try to do the bevel. So under the layer style, you have this kind of options that you can try. Okay. Okay. So this is going to be what you're gonna do for your design board making. So you should have about 3 new images, or you can use images that you use for the mood board or color board. But you need to use illustration file that I uploaded, okay? And then use image option to have the one black and white image, and then use filter to make this, what's wrong with me? Artist effect. And then touch tool, touch tool, blur tool and smudge tool, make this one. And then touch tool to make some shadow effect. And then try to duplicate layers and then adding layer style to add some shadow and then add some titles by using type tool. Okay, so that's going to be for today's work. And then again, next class we will start doing the Illustrator.